Hi, I'm Cameron. After 6 weeks in the hospital recovering from a nasty car accident, all I wanted was to sleep in my own bed. The taxi driver seemed confused when I gave him my address. Lady, you sure about this? Doesn't look like anyone lives there anymore. My heart nearly stopped when we pulled up. Furniture, boxes, and various belongings were scattered across the front lawn, some covered with tarps, others left exposed to the elements. A sold sign stood proudly by the driveway. There must be some mistake, I whispered, fumbling for my wallet. Wait here, please. Mrs. Abernathy, my neighbor for 15 years, rushed over when she spotted me. Cameron? Oh my goodness, we've been trying to reach you. When did you get out of the hospital? Just now. Mrs. Abernathy, what happened to my house? Where are all my things? She wrung her hands, her eyes darting away from mine. Oh dear, you don't know? Jeremy said you had agreed to downsize. That you were moving into assisted living after the hospital? Jeremy? My son told you that? My voice rose an octave. I never agreed to any such thing. Where is he? I haven't seen him in a few days. Not since the new owners came to look at the place. I fumbled for my phone. New owners? Mrs. Abernathy? Are you telling me my son sold my house while I was in the hospital? He had papers, Cameron. Power of attorney, he said. Everything seemed legitimate. My hands trembled as I dialed Jeremy's number. Straight to voicemail. Mrs. Abernathy, did he leave anything for me? A note, new address, anything? Nothing, dear. We all thought you knew. The moving company just dumped everything they couldn't fit in their truck yesterday. Diane, my best friend since college, arrived 20 minutes later, her face flushed with anger. I can't believe he did this, she fumed, helping me salvage what I could from the lawn. Power of attorney was for medical decisions, not selling your damn house. How could he even do this legally? I asked, voice breaking as I found my mother's photo album soaked from morning dew. He couldn't, Diane said firmly. This is fraud, plain and simple. My phone rang, Jeremy's wife, Sarah. Cameron, thank goodness you're okay, she gushed. Jeremy's been so worried. Has he? Where is my son, Sarah? He's securing your new place at Sunny Pines. It's a really nice facility, Cameron. Did you help him sell my house? I demanded. A pause. It was for your own good. After the accident, the doctors told me I'd make a full recovery with physical therapy. I interrupted. They never suggested I needed assisted living. Well, Jeremy thought he could cash out my equity and dump me somewhere convenient, I said coldly. Tell him I know exactly what he did, and he's going to regret it. Cameron, you're being dramatic. He's just looking out for you. Sarah, the next person I call is going to be a lawyer, then the police. I hung up as Diane returned with a business card. Marcus Hamilton, she said. Best real estate attorney in town, and he owes me a favor. You really think we can undo this? I asked, staring at my house, no longer mine. Honey, Diane said, squeezing my shoulder, we're going to do more than undo it. We're going to make sure Jeremy never tries anything like this again. Marcus Hamilton's office was immaculate, much like the man himself, pressed suit, precisely trimmed beard, and a voice like smooth bourbon. So your son sold your house while you were recovering from an accident, he summarized, reviewing the documents Diane had gathered. Did you ever sign power of attorney? Only for medical decisions, I explained. Never for financial matters. Marcus nodded, making notes. And the deed to the house? Solely in my name. I bought it after divorcing Jeremy's father 20 years ago. This is textbook fraud, Marcus declared, setting down his pen. Criminal and civil. We can file for an emergency injunction to halt the new owners from taking possession, then pursue criminal charges against your son. The new owners, I hesitated. They're innocent in this. They thought they were making a legitimate purchase. That's between them and their title insurance, Marcus replied. Your son is the one who committed fraud. So what's our next step? First, we file a police report. Then we gather evidence, bank records, the fraudulent power of attorney document, witness statements. I nodded, but my heart felt heavy. I never thought my own son would. Money changes people, Marcus interrupted, and houses in your neighborhood have appreciated considerably. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Jeremy says you're overreacting. The condo at Sunny Pines is paid for a full year. You should be grateful. I showed Marcus the message, my hands shaking with rage. Perfect, he smiled. Evidence of intent. Let's go speak with your neighbors, get statements about what Jeremy told them. Mrs. Abernathy welcomed us with tea and outrage. He told all of us you'd agreed to it, she fumed. Said the house was too much for you to manage after your accident, that you'd be happier somewhere with care staff. Did he mention what he planned to do with the proceeds from the sale? Marcus asked. Something about investments for Cameron's care, she replied. Though he did mention a trip to Europe he and Sarah had planned. With my money, I whispered. We spoke with 3 more neighbors, each account more damning than the last. Cameron, Diane said as we left the last house. We should talk to the new buyers. No need, Marcus replied, checking his phone. The title company is already on alert. Once we file the police report, their insurance will handle it. At the police station, Officer Collins took my statement with professional detachment. Family fraud cases are tough, she admitted. But selling someone's house while they're hospitalized is particularly egregious. Will you arrest him? I asked. We'll investigate first, she explained. But with the evidence you've provided, it's likely he'll face charges. I want him to face consequences, I said firmly. Real ones. Well, Officer Collins replied, real estate fraud involving these amounts is a felony. That means possible prison time. As we left the station, Diane squeezed my arm. Are you sure you want to go through with this? He's still your son. The son I raised wouldn't steal his mother's home while she was in a hospital bed, I replied. I don't know who this person is, but he needs to learn actions have consequences. What's next? Diane asked. We confront him, I decided. Face to face. I want to hear him try to justify what he did. Are you sure that's wise? Marcus cautioned. No, I admitted, but it's necessary. For me. Jeremy looked shocked when he opened his apartment door and saw me standing there with Diane and Marcus. Mom? What are you doing here? You should be at Sunny Pines getting settled, he stammered, blocking the doorway. Aren't you going to invite us in? I asked coldly. This isn't a good time. It wasn't a good time for me to find my belongings scattered across the lawn either. I cut him off. But here we are. Sarah appeared behind him. Cameron, please understand we were just trying to help. By selling my house without my knowledge or consent? I pushed past them into the apartment. That kind of help I can do without. Jeremy's face hardened. You needed assisted living, the doctor said. Don't lie to me, I snapped. I've spoken to my doctors. They recommended outpatient physical therapy, not a nursing home. Sunny Pines isn't a nursing home, Sarah protested. It's a luxury retirement community. That I never agreed to move into, I countered. Jeremy, do you realize what you've done? It's fraud. It's criminal. He scoffed. It's looking out for your best interests when you couldn't. Mr. Reynolds, Marcus interjected. I'm Marcus Hamilton, your mother's attorney. We've already filed a police report and contacted the title company. The sale of the house will be invalidated. Jeremy's face paled. You can't do that. The deal is done. Fraudulent transactions can absolutely be undone, Marcus replied. And given the circumstances, you're facing potential criminal charges. Criminal charges? Sarah gasped. For helping his mother? For stealing from his mother, Diane corrected. Big difference. Jeremy's composure cracked. Mom, you're being ridiculous. I was trying to help you. That house is too big, too much maintenance. You need somewhere with support staff after your accident. That wasn't your decision to make, I replied. Ever. Fine, I should have discussed it with you first, he conceded. But you weren't thinking clearly in the hospital. I made an executive decision. An executive decision to pocket hundreds of thousands in equity from my house? The money is in a trust for your care, he insisted. Show me the trust documents, Marcus challenged. Jeremy fell silent. That's what I thought, I said. How much of my money have you already spent, Jeremy? Mom, I'm sorry if you feel blindsided, he tried again. But you're not thinking rationally. You can't manage that house anymore. That's not for you to decide. Someone had to step up, he shouted suddenly. You're getting older. You're stubborn. You refuse to plan for the future. So you decided to plan it for me by stealing my house? I felt tears threatening, but forced them back. Where is the rest of my money, Jeremy? He looked away. We had expenses. How much is left? Marcus pressed. About half, Sarah admitted quietly. Half? I gasped. You spent over $200,000 in 6 weeks? We paid a full year at Sunny Pines up front, Jeremy defended. And there were other investments, opportunities. Opportunities like the European vacation Mrs. Abernathy mentioned? I asked. Jeremy's face darkened. You've been talking to the neighbors? Turning them against me? I didn't have to, I replied. They saw what you did. Get out, Jeremy suddenly snarled, pointing at the door. All of you. This is my home. Yes, I said quietly. Unlike mine, this actually is your home. For now. What's that supposed to mean? Sarah demanded. It means, Marcus explained calmly, that when the fraud case proceeds, the court will likely freeze your assets until restitution is determined. Jeremy lunged toward Marcus. You threatening me, you smug bastard? Diane stepped between them. Back off, Jeremy. There are witnesses here. Witnesses? He laughed bitterly. To what? Family business? This is between me and my mother. No, I corrected him. The moment you decided to sell my house without my consent, it became a legal matter. This isn't family business anymore. It's fraud. You'll regret this, Jeremy hissed. His finger pointed at my face. I swear to God, you ungrateful... Think very carefully before you finish that sentence, Marcus warned. Threats will only make your position worse. This isn't over, Jeremy said, backing away. You're making a huge mistake. The only mistake I made, I replied, was trusting you with power of attorney. That ends today. 3 months later, I sat in the courtroom as the judge delivered his verdict. Jeremy stood stiffly beside his attorney, his expression a mask of disbelief. The court finds the defendant guilty of elder abuse, fraud, and misappropriation of funds, Judge Harmon declared. Mr. Reynolds, your actions represent a profound breach of trust against a vulnerable family member. Jeremy's attorney tried one last appeal. Your Honor, my client genuinely believed he was acting in his mother's best interest. The evidence suggests otherwise, the judge interrupted. The defendant spent a significant portion of the fraudulently obtained funds on personal expenses unrelated to his mother's care. I felt Diane squeeze my hand as the judge continued. I hereby sentence you to 18 months in state prison, followed by 5 years of probation. You are ordered to make full restitution in the amount of $427,500. Outside the courthouse, Jeremy approached me as officers waited to take him into custody. Mom, please, his voice cracked. I can't do prison. Tell them you forgive me. Tell them you don't want this. I looked at my son, this stranger, and felt a curious emptiness. You had so many chances to make this right, Jeremy. So many opportunities to tell the truth. I made a mistake, he pleaded. People make mistakes. A mistake is forgetting to return a phone call, I replied. What you did was calculated. You saw an opportunity when I was vulnerable, and you took it. Sarah hovered nearby, tears streaming down her face. Cameron, please, we can work something out. Family shouldn't do this to each other. That's exactly my point, I nodded. Family shouldn't do this to each other, but he did. Jeremy's face hardened. So that's it? Your own son goes to prison and you just walk away? The way you walked away with my house and everything I worked for? I countered. Actions have consequences, Jeremy. It's time you learned that. Miss Reynolds, one of the officers called. We need to process him now. Jeremy's eyes flashed with anger as they approached. This isn't over. When I get out. When you get out, I interrupted calmly. The restraining order will still be in effect. You won't come near me or my property again. As they led him away, Diane put her arm around my shoulders. You okay? Marcus joined us, briefcase in hand. The title company has completed the reversal. Your house is officially yours again, Cameron. Thank you both, I said. I couldn't have done this without you. What now? Diane asked as we walked toward the parking lot. Now I go home, I replied. To my house, my real home. And Jeremy? She asked carefully. He made his choice, I said. Now he lives with it. Later that evening, as I sat on my porch with Diane and Marcus, watching the sunset over my reclaimed home, Marcus raised his glass. To justice, he toasted. To consequences, Diane added. I considered my own toast carefully. To painful lessons and new beginnings. Do you think you'll ever reconcile? Diane asked softly. I shook my head. Some betrayals can't be undone. Some trust, once broken, can't be repaired. What will you do with the restitution money when it comes? Marcus asked. Set up my own trust, I smiled slightly. One that Jeremy can never access. As my friends laughed, I looked out at my garden, thinking of the replanting I needed to do. Like my life, it would take time to restore what had been damaged. But unlike my relationship with Jeremy, my garden could be salvaged. You know, Diane mused, most people wouldn't have had the courage to see this through. It wasn't courage, I replied. It was necessity. Sometimes the only way forward is through. As twilight settled over my home, my rightful home, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. Not happiness exactly, but the quiet satisfaction of standing up for myself when it mattered most. Have you thought about what this experience has taught you? Marcus asked. I watched the first stars appear in the darkening sky. It taught me that justice isn't about vengeance. It's about restoring balance. And sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones we never suspected. And what would you tell someone going through something similar? Diane asked. I considered this for a moment. I'd ask them, what matters more? The relationship or your self-respect? Because sometimes you can't preserve both.